Okay, let's get this. Let's see here. Oh, hang on, guys. All right, that's better. Okay, bear with me while I get this thing set up, everybody. Let's see here. Just give me like a minute or two. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Don't get sick watching this live stream. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at these. I apologize. I gotta get it set up on my little tripod. There we go. Okay, I think we're about ready to go now. No, that doesn't work. Sorry, guys. If you can hear me all right, just let me know you're here. I always have a hard time getting these set up. So if you're watching this live, or excuse me, if you're not watching this live, if you're watching it after the fact, just come back in like 2 minutes while I'm getting everything going. Bill, what's up? Can you hear me okay? Sound is good. Okay, got it. Let me just turn this camera around real quick. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. That is the look we're looking for. All right, we'll let everybody kind of trickle in here for a minute. And I'll get my computer set up here. So if you're watching this not live, but after the fact, then shuffle ahead to like the 3-minute mark, and we'll get going here. It takes me just a second to get started. If you're just shuffling in here right now, maybe let me know where you're from. I'm always interested to know who's watching where in the world. And let's see here. And we get started here in about a minute. As always, we get started with a Cocoa Joy, and that's the drink of choice. They actually sponsor the channel. I think they're my only actual sponsor that hooks me up with free stuff. Salt Cycles, obviously my local bike shop, helps me out a lot. But what's up, guys? We got New Zealand in the house, St. Louis, Wisconsin, Toronto, other people in Houston, Arizona. We got everybody in here. We'll just let a couple more people shuffle in here. I did a Bikes Direct bike, guys. It's amazing. I don't think I've ever... Well, I've done the YT bikes before. But, man, Propain out of Germany. How cool is that? How many of you guys have ever actually heard of Propain bikes before? I don't think I've ever heard of them until the company reached out to me and said, hey, we're going to be launching in North America. It's kind of a funny story, actually. So they reached out to me like in September of last year, 2019, and said, hey, we're going to be launching in North America in like January, February of 2020. Would you be interested in developing some content for us? And I said, well, I'm always interested in trying new bikes, but I'm kind of just a one-off bike review type guy. I'm not really like a full-on YouTuber, and I don't have like a huge following. I just kind of do these reviews, and people who stumble across them, and what you really need is to have a series of videos, someone who's a YouTuber. And so we talked a little bit back and forth, and anyway, here we are 6-7 months later, and we connected about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They got me a couple of their bikes to ride, and I've been riding the heck out of them. I rode this Propain for the last, the Hugene, for like the last almost 2 weeks. I've got over 150 miles on this thing, and it's been a lot of fun. So it's a Bikes Direct bike. You just order it straight from the company's website, and that's what you do. And the process looks like it's pretty easy. I mean, I obviously haven't been through the process myself because I didn't buy the bikes. It's not my bike, but I'm just demoing it. But it's been a lot of fun. Let me hop down in the chat here. I'm interested to see... Lawmat93 says, dang, wearing a Pivot hat. Is Pivot the new Ibis for MTV Yum Yum? No, dude, I've got lots of hats. My kids got me this for my birthday. My birthday, I turned 38 years old a couple weeks ago, and my kids got me a pair of socks and a hat and a water bottle. And they picked out a little pivot hat. So I got to wear it. Plus, this is like one of those super comfortable ones. It's like kind of these foam ones, like collapses. Anyway, I'm not doing hat reviews, but yeah, this is a comfortable hat. So and I'm not a pivot fanboy, or I've been a little bit of an Ibis fanboy for the last couple of years. That's shifting though. I've got a new bike in the works, so we'll talk about my new bike that's coming tonight. We're obviously going to talk about the Propain Hugene and other bikes that Propain has coming out. In fact, let's just start right there. We're already 5-6 minutes into this video. Propain reached out to me, gave me a couple bikes to demo for a little while. I'm going to make a series of a couple videos for them. They need content, in English. A lot of their content that they have online is in German, and so they need content in English. I'm the guy that's able to make it. I'm sure they're going to have other people riding their bikes and doing reviews, and you'll see other reviews online over the next couple months, I would imagine. But this is this is a paid gig for me, so they pay me some money to develop this content. I told them my channel is not like, it's just me reviewing bikes. That's my channel, and they're totally on board with that. They say just do whatever you do, no stress. And so I did. They didn't see this video before. I had a couple DMs on Instagram, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, head over to Instagram and follow me on Instagram. You see more of my personal life on Instagram too, and just kind of who I am, which is kind of fun. Unless you don't like that kind of stuff, then don't do it. No big deal. But anyway, so where was I? So Propain's going to have me contract a couple videos for them just to help get their name out. And you know what? I like the brand. The brand is cool. The bike is way better than I thought it was going to be. It's an actual thought out suspension. In fact, I'm not like an engineer or a suspension wizard, but it kind of, the way the two pivots rotate against each other, or one goes counterclockwise and one goes clockwise, it kind of acts like a VPP. I'm sure some engineer out there would know what type of suspension it is, but it kind of feels like VPP, and kind of felt like a high tower or a tall boy. And I thought it was super rad. I thought it was really cool. And the price for these bikes is bonkers. I build up $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 bikes, and my $9,000 bikes that I personally own are not any better than their $5,000 bike. It's crazy. So it's kind of cool. I'm gonna hop into the chat right now and just answer whatever questions people have in the chat. And so if you guys don't have a lot of questions about Propain, then hey, we won't talk a lot about Propain tonight. But if you guys have a lot of questions about Propain, then we end up talking about Propain bikes tonight. That sounds good to me. So if you have a question about Propain Hugene, let it rip right now in the chat, and I'll get caught up here in the chat so I'm up to speed. Let's see here. Just looking at the chat real quick. Rascal versus the Hugene. Matthew says, okay, he's saying the Revel Rascal brand out of Colorado versus the Propain Hugene. Well, look, here's the deal, guys. I'm currently building up a Revel Rascal. So I've spent a ton of time on that bike over the last 9 months. And every time I go back to it, it just gives me that aha, it's a really special bike. I got to have it type of thing. So it's not that the Rascal is necessarily better than any other bike out there. In fact, I rode the Rascal and the Switchblade back to back, the Pivot Switchblade. A lot of the things about the Pivot Switchblade I kind of like better, but I like the uniqueness of the Revel Rascal. I'm having ridden Ibis for the last 2 years, and that brand has absolutely blown up in my area. If you live in Utah, I'm sure it's like this all over the country, but if you live in Utah, everyone's riding an Ibis Ripmo. Everybody. It's totally insane. And the Ripley is super popular too, which is great because they're good bikes. But I'm building up a Rascal because I kind of want to have my own looking bike and have my own characteristics about the bike. And it's kind of fun to own your own thing. Everybody owns Specialized and Santa Cruz and Ibis. And so that's my draw to the Revel Rascal. And it's a killer bike. And it's perfectly quiet when you ride it. Which, speaking of which, this Propain Hugene, dead silent the entire time I've ridden it. Doesn't make a single noise, no cable rattles, no weird suspension noises, no chain slap, just totally quiet the whole time. I love that. The bike comes with a chain guide on the chain ring, which I love that too. I wish every bike manufacturer would send their bikes out the door with a chain guide. It can't cost that much money. I don't know why they don't all do it. Another thing I didn't mention in the video about the Propain Hugene is the saddle. So a lot of the components like the bar and the grips and the saddle are by a company. I'm looking at the bike here. I think it's called Six Pack. I don't know. It's probably like a German components brand. The saddle was so comfortable. Man, I could ride that bike all day long. I did a couple 25-mile rides on the Hugene, and man, just pedals all day long. Felt great. The saddle was super comfortable. Normally, on my own personal bikes, I put a WTB Volt saddle on my bikes. That's just kind of what I like. Although I ride a ton of different saddles because I'm demoing bikes all the time. And this six-pack, whatever saddle it is, I'm sure it's on their website. It was super comfortable. I really freaking liked it. It was awesome. Yeah, let me hop back in the chat here. I'm getting a little sideways here. So I'm here to promote U.S. builders to actually build in America. Ceramic Tile Pro LLC. He's saying he wants people to build in the United States. You know, I think some brands are building their bikes in the United States. Ibis, I know for sure, is starting to build some of their carbon molds in the United States. I know Revel out of Colorado does some of their carbon stuff or plastics, whatever. If it's carbon or plastic, they do it in the United States. So yeah. Bill W says 130 millimeter bike sounds about perfect to me. Dude, totally. If you can only own one bike, which that's what most people do, 130 millimeter travel 29er is just kind of splits evenly the cross country stuff type of riding and then the go get crazy stuff riding. And so, yeah, definitely 130 mil travel, like pivot switchblade. I know it got a little bit longer travel this year, but the previous one was like what, 135. Killer bike, the Ripmo, the Ripley, the Tallboy, the Rocky Mountain Instinct. I mean, there's so many good bikes. That's the other thing I need to say, guys. Like, if you guys haven't caught the like rhythm of my channel yet, like some people complain that I don't have any negative things to say about bikes, but like they all are really good. Like most bikes are pretty dang good. There's some that are a little better than others to me, but you know, you just got to get out there and find which one's right for you. But the Propain Hugene, just getting a little bit more back on topic now, 130 millimeters in the rear, 140 or 150 in the front. It competes with the best of them. Let's see here. Yeah, Chris just says he noticed in my video review how quiet it was. Yeah, some of my bikes are a little clanky and it comes through on the edit. But yeah, it was dead quiet. Lavin says, if you got the Propain, no one would have it in your area. Yeah, exactly. If you bought the Propain Hugene, it's likely that, it's not very likely that someone out on the trail when you're out riding, you're not going to run into 10 other guys riding your same bike, which to me, that's on my list of things that I need. Like, I'm kind of sick of riding the same bike as every other freaking person. And so that's one, in terms of like cool factor or like reasons to buy. A, it rides awesome. B, it's like a lot of package, like a lot of bang for your buck. It's a good value. But number 3 is like, it's your own bike. Not every other dude out there has that same bike. All right, sorry guys, I'm getting a little behind in the chat here. From your video, I gather the suspension is more planted than poppy. Yeah, so the suspension on the Hugene took me a minute to get set up properly, but some bikes take me a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half hour. Other bikes like the Rebel Rascal, for example, I got on that bike and I could set it at 25% sag or 30% sag. It still rode good everywhere. But this bike, the Hugene, I ended up riding it. I started at about 30% sag, add a little bit more pressure to get closer to 25% sag, and that's kind of where I rode it. I like my bikes to feel a little snappier, a little poppier, a little faster in the suspension. And no, I mean, it still feels pretty playful, honestly. I mean, it's not as playful as my Ripley, but I would say it's like a Tallboy. It's for the amount of travel that it has. I think it's a rad bike. Like legitimately, it's worth looking at if you're out shopping for a 29er trail bike. In terms of complaints, real quick, we're 15 minutes in this video. Might as well tell you my complaints about it. The head tube angle, I didn't notice it that much on the trail, but I knew in my head that it was like a 67-degree head tube angle, 67 and a half. And in my head, I was thinking, oh man, this is going to bother me. But on the trail, I thought it was awesome. And I rode this back to back with my Ripley on one day. I did like a 14-mile ride where I switched between the Ripley and the Hugene. And I think it definitely descends better than the Ripley. Honestly, it does. So, that 67 and a half degree head tube angle didn't hold it back. And I thought it climbed really well. So, modern geometry is getting crazy. Like the new tall boy is like 65 and a half degree head tube angle, and then like 66 or 67 degree seat tube angle. So look, the Propain's geometry is a little more dated, but it's not like outdated by any means. The Rocky Mountain Instinct has a similar geometry. The new Switchblade that just came out, it's not the most slack head tube angle and the steepest seat tube angle, and it's still a bike that totally kills on the trail. Like the Switchblade is incredible. So yeah, I just think it is a little bit outdated, maybe. Not outdated, it's just a little older. It's not as modern geometry, but it's still really good geometry. And I really liked how I fit on this bike. All right. Do I ever get neck pain on 20+ mile rides? I don't think so. But I ride a lot. I ride almost every day, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Let's see here. Matthew says, do the Ripley and the Rascal fit in the same quiver? I have a Rascal and wonder if I need something a little more cross-country to complement it. You know what? I think you could build up the Revel Rascal pretty lightweight, and it could probably compete close with the Ripley. But it's made, to me, it's made to compete more with the Switchblade and this Propain Hugene and the Ripmo and the Stump Jumper and bikes like that, the Rocky Mountain Instinct. That's I think it's made to compete with more of those bikes. Okay, just got down to Chris Nelson. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Chris says, based on riding here in Utah, Ibis Ripley NX build versus the Hugene Launch Edition, which one would you recommend and why? Well, first of all, I would never recommend to anyone to buy an NX build drivetrain. I know that might sound stupid, but an NX drivetrain is truly like, it's a disposable drivetrain. Like the NX drivetrain is not great. I've ridden on it and it's just not great. I would just save a little bit more money and get the GX or the SLX build Ripley. In fact, I think the SLX build Ripley is like the best value in the Ibis lineup. The SLX build is a great value. So in this case, given Ripley NX versus the Hugene Launch Edition, I would get the Hugene. Plus it's just a killer deal. But I wouldn't buy a bike with NX. I would say go get a part-time job delivering pizzas twice a week for a month, and you'll have enough money to go get a GX or an SLX, and I promise you, you'll appreciate it. 1 month of pizza delivery, if that's what you got to do to get a little bit nicer build, to me, that's worth it. So I wouldn't get NX. Sorry. I might take some heat from some of you guys for that. But think about how often you're going to ride your bike. You should get something that like is good. Like, I don't know. Think about how much money people spend on other hobbies. And like, it's hard because on mountain biking, the barrier to entry is kind of high. You got to buy a floor pump and all the tools and a shock pump and a helmet and gloves and probably a chamois and riding shorts, maybe shoes and pedals. Like the barrier to entry is kind of steep and you got to buy a bike, but once you have all that stuff, like the ongoing cost is pretty low. And the reality is if you buy a $4,000 bike at the end of the season, let's say you buy it in February and you ride and then you sell it again the next February, that $4,000 bike's not going to be worth zero. It's not going to be worth $1,000. It's not going to be worth $2,000. It's probably going to be worth, I don't know, like $2,500 or something. I don't know for sure what it's going to be worth. But my point is there's kind of steep monetary barrier to entry. But after that, it doesn't cost you a whole lot to go ride. Whereas like golfing or a ton of other hobbies, like think about people who go boating with their families. Like that's an insane amount of money. So anyway, don't get me started on budget bikes. I think people should buy the most expensive bike they can afford. And if you can't afford something more than an NX, then that's great. If you can only afford an $800 hardtail, that's great. That gets you out on the trail. But if you're looking at a Ripley, you're already willing to spend $4,000 or whatever it is for the NX build. Just spend a little bit more and get the nicer one. I don't know why I just went off on a huge tangent. I am sorry, guys. I'll tell you why. Because I got up at 4 o'clock this morning to take my kids fishing. I drove 2 hours to a fishing spot so I could be there when the fish were still biting, at 6:30. And went fishing. It was great. We caught like 12 fish. A bunch of like 22-inch rainbows and cutthroats. And I didn't even put it on Instagram because I think I've been putting too much personal family stuff on Instagram lately that most of you guys are like, what the crap? We signed up for MTV Yum Yum and we ended up getting like the doll family shenanigans. So anyway, maybe I've been a little self-conscious about that. So I didn't post any fishing videos today. I've been up all day. Okay, so let's get back in this. So Chris Nelson, back to what would I recommend? The Ripley and the Hugene are different enough. They're not in the exact same category. The Ripley has a sportier, zippier feel to it. It climbs better than the Hugene. The Hugene feels more stable and planted, even though it has a kind of steep head-to angle. It just feels really planted. I think it has longer chain stays, and that gives it that kind of planted feeling. But it can handle a lot more than what the Ripley could handle, for sure. How does the Propain Hugene compare to the Revel Rascal? Okay, I would say that the Revel Rascal feels a little smoother everywhere on the descent. But the Hugene, like for example, the Hugene sometimes feels like it loses support just a little bit towards like the middle to the probably the 50 to 70, 80% of the stroke on the shock. Not in a bad way, but just it wasn't terrible, but just you feel it a little bit. And then it ramps up pretty hard at the end. I never bottomed out the Hugene, I don't think ever. But the Rascal never feels that way. The Rascal feels really supported through the whole thing. I feel like, especially like under braking and some other scenarios, maybe on the Rascal, it probably stays more active than the Hugene. But the Hugene felt super, super smooth, really supple off the top. The real small bump stuff was awesome. I felt totally confident on that bike. It totally ripped. It was awesome. I think the Rascal might build up a little bit lighter weight than the Hugene. Also, I think the Hugene's going to be a 29-pound bike, no matter what you do. Maybe get it down to 28 pounds. A Rascal, you can get a little bit lighter weight. Also, I think the Hugene's a little bit better price point. I have to go look at. They both have like a $5,000 build. I have to go back and look and see which one was kitted better. But I thought the Propain Hugene was kitted a little bit better at the $5,000 price range. So Chump MTB is saying that the Propain's head tube angle is pretty steep for a modern day mountain bike. It didn't ride terrible. It didn't ride like a cross country bike, that's for sure. Let's see here. TS says hit the like button. That's right. Please hit the like button. It helps Google, get people looking at my videos more, which is always good. Let's see here. Just jumping down a little bit further here. Okay, Michael Glidewell says, what kind of rear suspension is it on the Propain Hugene? Did they say what it's called? Yes, it's called on the frame, and on their website it says the Propain 10 suspension style. So, most of their content is in German, and so I didn't have a lot of information on like what their suspension was. It looks like VPP to me, and it kind of feels like it. Maybe I should reach out to the guys at Propain who got me the bikes and ask them. But I didn't talk to them too much about like the bike or what they didn't give me like a list of things I need to say about the bike. Nothing like that. They didn't give me any. Here, watch these videos, or they didn't give me any information. They just gave me the bikes and said, great, make us a couple videos. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And I said, okay, because I'm just going to be brutally honest and just, if I don't like it, I'm going to let people know. I hope you know that. They said, we think you're going to like the bike. Just go ride it. And so that's all. So it's called the Pro 10 suspension. If somebody on here is from Germany or knows more about these Propain bikes, yeah, just chime in. Matthew McCab, is that right? It says, my family's awesome. You must follow me on Instagram. Oh, man. I post a lot about my family on Instagram. Sorry, guys. Bill W. says, big problems with NX drivetrain has come with any Shimano 10-speed style hub and can't be upgraded to the higher level Eagle cassette. That's right. The NX shift has issues too. The derailleur is okay though. Yeah, I've never personally owned NX, but I've ridden it enough to know that I just probably wouldn't buy it, and I wouldn't recommend somebody to buy it. So, yeah. Let's see here. Moving down. Any other questions about the Propain Hugene? Any more questions? Then we can just kind of hang out and I'll finish my Coca Joy, and then we can all go back to our Sunday evenings. You don't have to listen to me ramble on about a bunch of nonsense. Let's see. Quill says, will you make some new trail previews of trails like Quarry or Evil Empire? Yeah, it's a good idea. I've done 3 or 4 trail videos, right? People like to watch them. I don't get on YouTube and like just watch people trail riding videos very often, so that's why I don't film them. But if people want to see them, yeah, I can take a camera with me. I mean, I ride almost every day of the week. In fact, on Friday night, I rode twice. I rode Friday morning and Friday night, and so I ride a ton. I just need to take my camera with me. The only time I take my camera with me is when I'm demoing bikes, pretty much. So yeah, I'll do more trail videos. Evil Empire, down to Red Bull and all that stuff, kind of there in between canyons and Park City, is really rowdy stuff. And I wonder how it would film it. I think people would be interested to see it. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. Which, by the way, well, yeah, I'll do that. Whose advice was that? Quill. Cheers, Quill. I'll do some more trail review or trail videos. Okay. Matthew says, I love following you and your family adventures. You are an amazing father. Wow, thank you. Yeah, I upload all the adventures we do, skiing, hiking, biking with the kids, obviously, fishing. We've been doing a ton of fishing last year and this year. We ski every weekend with our kids, so it's kind of fun, and hopefully it inspires you to get out and live your life with your kids. I'm not the greatest at it. There's people out there who are living a much better life than me, I'm sure, but I try to make the most of my days. We ride dirt bikes with the kids, little moto bikes and stuff. So if it inspires you to go spend more time with your family, then that works. Bearded MTBer says, why the pivot hat? That's like the 4th person that's made that comment. Because my kids got it to me for my birthday like 3 weeks ago. And so this is the hat I wore today fishing. So this is just what I was wearing today. I don't have like a costume or anything. I don't need to wear a Propain hat for a Propain video, do I? Hopefully you guys are okay with a pivot hat. All the bikes are good. All good bikes. Let's see here. Okay, Prince says, one suggestion, at the end of the year, you should do a best of video to highlight the best bikes you rode. Usually the best bikes video are just whatever bikes I end up buying. The bikes that I buy are the ones that I demo bike and I think, okay, that was really rad. I spend another day or 2 on it. I make a video. And then sometimes a bike is like in my head. I can't get it out. Like the pivot switchblade, the new pivot switchblade is money. I couldn't get that bike out of my head, so I rode it a ton. I for sure have over 200 miles on the new Pivot Switchblade. I rode it a ton. I really, really liked it. The Rebel Rascal, same way. I just can't get out of my head. Those are bikes that, I've always got like 4 or 5 bikes sitting in my living room, like right over here in this room. And, in the morning when I get ready to go out the door, I look at the bikes and I think, which one's calling my name? Which one do I got to grab? And my Ripley's sitting there, and I used to have a Ripmo that was sitting in there, and I grabbed the Pivot Switchblade a ton when I had it, and the Rebel Rascal, like I thought about it all the time, and now I'm building a Rebel Rascal. So the best bikes of the years, in my opinion, are the ones that I end up buying, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right bike for you guys. Not necessarily, because your trails might be different than mine, or your riding style might be different than mine. Or I've kind of had this realization in the last like 6 months from the feedback of a lot of the viewers here, which is, if I'm 235 pounds, is my experience the same as Jason's, this Yum guy who's only 140 pounds? And so I've thought more about that. In fact, I would love to find another YouTuber who's doing videos who I could recommend to you guys, who's maybe a heavier guy, over 200-pound type guy. So I could say, hey, go check out this 200-pound guy's video, who maybe is making good videos. And I could say, hey, here, maybe if you're a heavier guy, maybe take his advice, because maybe their bike ride's different. I don't know. So I would assume it kind of rides the same. But anyway, so best bike of the year is the ones that I own, in my opinion, because I buy my favorite bikes. Let's see here. Would I recommend GX? Yeah, GX I think is decent. It's kind of I think the rear cassette's also a kind of disposable cassette also. But yeah, I think GX, SRAM GX drivetrain's good stuff. What bikes in the past 3 years would you say the Propain's most similar to? Jeff R. I think probably in the way it fits and feels, kind of a Rocky Mountain Instinct, but the way it rides, I would say like the 2 generations ago Santa Cruz Hightower. Not the current Hightower, but the previous one is probably the one that it feels the most like, which I owned that bike and I really liked it. And this is, I wish I still had that Sriracha Red Hightower, because I bet you it would feel really similar to this Hugene. Yeah, I would say in the last 3 years, that's probably the bike it feels the most similar to. Okay, just shuffling down through the, through the chat here a little bit more. Do I know if Propain's company will be bringing demos to America? It's my understanding that they're going to have a demo truck, a demo van at some point with the driver driving around the country offering demos. I know for sure that they are going to be at Outer Bike. They were supposed to be at Outer Bike here in Utah at Deer Valley in July, but that got canceled because of the whole coronavirus, COVID-19 stuff. So they will be at the future Outer Bikes for sure. So if you want to check out Propain, go to Outer Bike. That's also just a quick plug for Outer Bike. That's an incredible way to find your next bike, because you can demo a lot of different bikes back to back on the same trails, which that's what I do on my channel. All the bikes on the same trail. I think that's valuable. Let's see here. How does the Hugene compare to the Trail 429 since you are wearing a pivot hat? Yeah, it doesn't feel very similar to the Trail 429. It feels more similar to like the previous Switchblade, the previous model Switchblade, I would say. Yeah, you can get the Hugene front travel 140 and 150. You can pick, I think. You can decide which length fork you want. Okay, yeah, Trail Surf. Oh, I just scrolled down in the chat and I missed. There you are. Okay, Trail Surfer says, wait until the Tai Enduro bike comes out. That's right. That's a bike that I think they're going to sell a ton of. The new Tai. If you haven't checked it out, go to Propain's website and check out the Tai. Tyee. That bike looks pretty legit. I will be riding that bike and doing a review for them in June or maybe the 1st of July. So it's coming. Eric Bear says, did I get my e-bike yet? Yes, I did. It is right there. That is my new e-bike. Can you see it? It's a Rocky Mountain Instinct Power Play. So yes, sorry to make you sick by turning the camera around, but yes, I got my e-bike. Probably take a bunch of heat from that from somebody, but the purpose of the e-bike for me is to go on huge, long alpine adventures that I already do on my current pedal bikes, but I ride some stuff that you just have to hike your bike up for like an hour and a half, just hiking your bike. This will allow me to get up those steep stuff in the high alpine and go for, rides that would normally take me 4.5, 5 hours. I could probably get it done in 3 hours or less. So I probably won't be putting a ton of miles and time on the e-bike, but 2-3 times a month, I think I'll be out riding it. So yes, Eric Bear, good memory. I'll have a video coming out about it at some point, but yeah, I got an e-bike, which is kind of weird to say. All right. Silver Crown says, we know you don't like big brand bikes, but you did review a few giant bikes. Why not review the Trek Slash? It's a great bang for your buck. Look, I like Giant and Trek and Scott and Specialized and Santa Cruz, the big bike companies. I do like them, but I guess, look, I review the bikes that I'm interested in buying. So all the bikes that I review are the ones that I like, or at least I think I would like it, and so I want to try it out. So I guess if this was my full-time job and I didn't have a day job, then yeah, I would probably ride every single bike. I would get the Forbidden Fruit, whatever bike that is, the Gorilla Gravity, whatever bike that is, that tons of people ask me to review. I would ride more Norcos and more Konas and whatever other bikes, Scotts. But those aren't the bikes that I personally want to own and buy right now, and so they don't get ridden or they don't get demoed. So that's part of it. Although it's funny because the Specialized videos that I've done, the Giant videos, and the Santa Cruz, those 3 brands are the videos that get the most likes, the most views, the most watch time, and they're the ones that Google pays me the most for ad revenue. I've made more money on those videos to help supplement my time to do this than any of my Ibis or Rocky Mountain or Pivot videos. Rocky Mountain, Ibis, and Pivot don't even come close, and the Revel videos that nobody watches don't even come close to if I was doing Specialized videos all the time. So if this was just a YouTube thing for me, then I would go buy, I would own a Specialized Stump Jumper or a Giant Trance or a Santa Cruz High Tower or Mega Tower, because those are the videos that get the most views. At least on my channel, those are the videos that get the most views. So if I was just about YouTube, those are the bikes that I would ride. But I do care about that because I wouldn't do this for free, because it's nice it's kind of paying for my hobby, right? This YouTube channel. And so that's nice because Google pays me a little bit of money every month to kind of supplement my time. But if it was just about the money, just about YouTube, I'd be riding Giant, Specialized, Santa Cruz, and Trek. Okay, let's see here. Back to the chat here. Orgil, I don't know if that's how you say your name or not. It says, are you going to try the Fox 34 with the Grip 2? Yeah, that is so awesome. I'm so pumped on that. So Fox just came out with a whole bunch of new forks. The Grip 2 is now offered in the Fox 34. The new Fox 36 is almost as lightweight as the previous Fox 34. It's close. It's definitely lighter than the previous Fox 36. And now there's a Fox 38 also. My buddy Jason has been riding the Fox 38 for the last 3 weeks, and he's really stoked on it. So yeah, I would like to try the Fox 34 with the Grip 2. That looks pretty sweet. Because I didn't love the Fit 4 in the Fox 34, the Fit 4 damper. Okay, is the $500 suspension upgrade worth it on the Propain? going to the Rock Shock Revolution versus the Lyric. Yeah, I would say the Lyric and Super Deluxe is definitely worth $500 upgrade. Plus, I think some of the other kit there on Propain's website changes also. Alex Rodriguez says, you specifically compared Propain to YT in the review. The 2020 Jeffsy has been getting great reviews, but you said Propain had way better suspension. Can you expand on that? Yeah, so the reason why I specifically said YT is for two reasons. Number one, Propain paid me money to make this video. So I want to be honest and true about what I'm saying, but if they're going to pay me money to do this video, I want to kind of shout out some of their competitors, which I would imagine, they didn't tell me this, but I would imagine YT or Commensal are competitors, the people that they're going to compete with, because they're working in the same space, in that direct-to-consumer bike space. And so I tried to be hyper aware while I was spending time on this bike. The only other direct bike I've ridden is the YT, the Jeffsy and the Capra. So while I was riding this bike, I was trying to be hyper aware of, okay, is there something better or worse than YT as I'm riding this? Because if there's something better, I would want to say that. You know, I'd want to say that the Hugene feels better in XYZ category than the YT, because A, it's useful information for a person who's looking for a direct consumer bike, but B, Propain paid me, so I should try to do a good job for them, you know, and let people know, is this worth considering over a YT? And if I thought it wasn't, then I probably just wouldn't have said anything at all. I would have just said, hey, the Hugene's fine, give it a try, no big deal. But hands down, you guys, look, there's no secret. I love Rocky Mountain bikes, but they do not climb, or there's just not as much pedal management and sophistication built into that bike compared to like an Ibis Ripley. There just isn't. It's just a horse link suspension. They call it a smooth link suspension on a Rocky Mountain, but the reality is it's a horse link suspension, just like YT, just like Fazari, just like Specialized. I mean, there's a ton of brands that use it because it works. It's good, and especially now that bikes are one by drivetrains, they don't have two front chain rings. They work even better now. They used to bob quite a bit because you were in different chain rings, and it was hard for them to build in the anti-squat with the two different chain rings. But now HorseLink works really well because it's just one chain ring. I'm getting off on a tangent, but my point is the reason why I brought up YT in the video is because A, if you're going to buy a budget bike, like a direct-to-consumer bike at a bargain, that's the idea, right? Get the one with the sophisticated rad suspension that's on these Propain bikes, the Pro 10, which I think is really just a VPP rebranded. I could be wrong. But why not get that suspension over the HorseLink? Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. It climbs much better. I mean, you can lock out the Jeffsy, the YT, and it climbs all right. But yeah, I just, if it were me, that's what I would do. Because the YT bikes to me just always kind of felt like, they're good bikes. You know, if that's your budget and you're stoked on the YT brand, they've done a really good job. YT's done an incredible job branding themselves. They got a pretty edgy, cool brand. But I don't know. It's not blowing my mind. So anyway, I hope I addressed that for you, Alex Rodriguez. Bill W says outer bike is worth every penny. Absolutely. Outer bike is such a good value. All right, we'll probably start wrapping this thing up here in the next little bit. What bikes am I looking forward to in 2020? I'm looking forward to my Revel Rascal. I thought it was going to be built up last week, but I think it's going to be built up on Monday or Tuesday. So a couple more days and I'll have it. Honestly, the brand I'm most stoked on right now is Revel. I just think they build really cool bikes. I just like different bike brands. I like quiet bikes. You know, the things about Revel that are really nice is their paint jobs are like so nice. The bike is dead quiet. It's really unique. Just like looking at the frame, it's like a work of art. It's just, I want to hang it on my wall. It's just, I'm stoked on the brand. They ride really cool. They're unique. They're different. I like the brand. I like the company. I like that they're out of Colorado. They used to have roots in Utah, which I'm in Utah, so I think that's cool. I'm almost done here. And so, yeah, for 2020, You know, I'd love to get back on a Yeti too. I owned a Yeti SB100. I've always wanted to own a Yeti SB150, but it's just too much bike for my trails. And so dropping that much money on a SB150, you know, where I wouldn't ride it on my trails very often. There's just like better bikes to be on. Like the Ibis Ripley is more fun to be on my trails than the SB150. I mean, I can take the SB150. There's no law that says I can't, but it's just not as fun on my local trails that you see in my videos. And so I like Yeti a lot too. I'd like to get on a Yeti. You know, maybe if Yeti came out with something cool this year, maybe I'd take a crack at that if I liked it. But I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to anything in 2020. I'm looking forward to riding a lot. I've got some goals personally for riding. There's a big jump track in my neighborhood here, like a big jump track that I've hit the jumps, but I've never cleaned them all, and so that's what I want to do. I kind of want to learn how to manual better. I can manual for like a couple seconds through areas of trail as needed, but I can't do like those sporty, cool manuals that you see some of my buddies do. I mean, I can manual for like 10 feet, but I can't manual for like 100 yards. So I kind of thought I'd practice on that. I'd learn how to jump better. I mean, I can jump, but I want to jump with like some more style. That's the stuff I'm looking forward to more in 2020. Not really a bike. In fact, honestly, guys, I hate to say this, and I hope this doesn't end up ruining my channel over the next year or two, but like the more bikes that I ride, you guys, this is like being fully transparent with you guys, 100% with you guys. The more I ride bikes, the less I give a crap about which bike I'm riding. Like, honestly, I could go buy a $3,000 giant Trance with GX drivetrains, the Fox 34 Rhythm fork, and I could be happy with it. Like, I'm not going to because I've got money to buy a nicer bike, but my point is I care less about what I'm riding, and I care a lot more about just going out and riding and honing in my skills, getting better, having fun with my friends. My wife and I have been biking a ton together. Marcy went with me 3 times last week and like twice this week. Yeah, so riding twice a week or 3 times a week with my wife, like, I don't really care what bike I'm riding. I just like hanging out with her out on the trail, and she's super athletic. She's an excellent athlete, and so she's always biked with me, but she's biked with me like 15 times a year, you know? I'll bet you we've been 15 times already this year, and it's May, you know? So that's what I'm looking forward to in 2020. Riding more cool trails. I still want to demo all the bikes. I'm going to keep doing this because I think that I think that this is valuable. I think someone who can ride a lot of different bikes on the same trail and you kind of have an idea of what the guy's like, I think it's valuable. I think there should be 10 other guys out there doing exactly what I do, just reviewing the bikes. That way that, you know, it helps people make a $7,000 decision or a $5,000 decision. That's a lot of money to spend on a bike. So to have someone who's ridden a lot of different bikes can give you some input, I think that's valuable. So I'm going to keep doing it. But that's the reality. If I'm 100% with you guys, the reality is I don't really care as much about what I'm riding anymore. Like the Rebel Rascal, is it way better than the other bikes? Like, I don't know. I kind of think so right now, but it doesn't really matter. Like, all the bikes are pretty good. I think some bikes are a little bit better, but they all get you out on the trail. Yeah, and that's the thing. Anyway, there you go. Hats off to that. Maybe you guys don't like that. I don't know. I need to end this thing and go hang out with my wife. But hopefully you guys find this to be valuable. But I also want you guys to know, like, the reason why all my videos are pretty positive about every bike is because all the bikes are pretty dang good. Like, what are some of the things that I don't like? Well, maybe I should say these in my video. I don't know how to make these videos, guys. I'm doing the best I can, but like, I'll just be real with you for a second, okay? Let's do this. So for those of you who are watching this video, you guys are crazy enough to watch a guy do a live stream, but I'm just gonna do this. Okay, the cables on this port right here, maybe I should say this in my reviews, but this port right here for the dropper cable and the rear brake right here comes up at a super steep angle right here. So if I don't have my Wahoo computer on here, that's my Wahoo computer, this is constantly, it used to hit my bar until I lowered my Wahoo computer, but the angle of this comes out so steep that it hits right here. But look at the Rocky Mountain. The Rocky Mountain comes out this way. It doesn't come out that way, right? So the cables are out here lower. A lot of bike companies do this. It's because it has like a little crimp right here that makes it come out of the bike that way instead of this way, right? See how high this comes out? Look at that. So it's tapping against your bars all the time, making noise. Drives me crazy. Another thing on the Ibis Ripley that drives me crazy. Why didn't they bring the chainstay? It looks really sexy with this chainstay protector right here. Why didn't they just drop it down right here? Because I get my paint chipped all through right here. It drives me nuts. So, look, when I do my videos, I should probably be saying that type of stuff. I don't know why I didn't. Like, look at the Hugene. Sorry, guys. I'm going to make you sick moving my camera around. Here's the Hugene right here, right? Look at this. They bring their chainstay protector all the way down here. This bike is dead silent when this chain's slapping down. They've even got protector down here. It's so smart. I really like that. Look at the front of this bike. Look at the way the ports come out. See that? See how it comes out? Straight out like this, so it's not up here. So it's not up here like clanking against my bars up here. I don't know what, that's just smart. I like that. Okay, and then another thing that I didn't know if I should mention in the Hugene video is that this paint, it's really hard to see. This paint is kind of, the paint doesn't look as good or high quality as like my Ibis. The paint here is super high quality. It's hard to tell. Anyway, sorry for the real talk, guys. I'm like getting all worked up about it. But do you guys, is that what I should be putting in my reviews? I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. I never know what to do in those situations. I just got like super real with you guys. Sorry. Yeah. Now I'm getting back to my computer reading the chat. Michael Gladwell says, I'll say it. Again, I love the brutal honesty. Yeah, well, I do hate plus size tires. Sorry, I wasn't reading the chat, you guys. Anyway, maybe I'll start just being more like brutally honest about bikes, but like I love the way the Ripley rides so much that I can live with the cables coming out in a way that I don't necessarily love. I wouldn't have built the bike that way. And the chainstay protector kind of bugs me a little bit, but the Ripley is like the best trail bike I've ever ridden. And so like I've got to own it. I've owned that bike for over a year now. It's the longest I've owned a bike in 3 years. So the Rebel Rascal, to me, all the little things that I don't like maybe about other bikes, the Rebel Rascal doesn't have any of those things. Chainstay protector is good. The bike is dead quiet, good. I mean, I just like everything about that bike. It just seems more high quality than other bikes that I've ridden. So that's why I'm buying the Rebel Rascal. The Hugene, same thing, like tons of thoughtful stuff, like really nice saddle, really nice suspension for a good value. It comes spec'd with good tires that I would actually ride, which tires are cheap, you can switch them, but you can't like switch your chainstay protector. And the Hugene has a killer chainstay protector. It comes with the chain guide. I love that. Anyway, MTB Trail Rat, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it, man. Anyway, I hope this was fun. I hope you guys liked the live stream tonight. I kind of got crazy. I'm super tired. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, so I'm gonna go to bed. Go hang out with Marcy. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. If you want to see my rides, follow me on Strava. I drink Cocoa Joy because they give me free Cocoa Joy to tell you guys that it's good. It's the only people I've ever worked a deal with on sponsorship. And I was buying this stuff at the grocery store for years before I ever called them and said, hey, I buy your crap at the store every week. Why don't we do a deal together? And they said, we would love to do a deal together. So now you guys get, I can't remember what the discount is. The promo code is YumYum at their website. You get free shipping and I think it's like 15% off. I'll have to look it up. I can't remember. When I get done with this video, I'll put it in the description down below. I put it in my water bottles when I ride, except for it has to be cold. If this is not cold, it honestly tastes like BO. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like authentic, real cocoa joy or coconut water. But I love this stuff. And they also make it in like a carbonated one, like strawberry, coconut, pineapple, coconut. Anyway, a bunch of other ones. They're all pretty good. Okay, that's it. We're gonna end. Thank you, Bill, for moderating. Thank you, Michael Glidewell, for, I don't know if you moderated also. I have you set up as a moderator, just keeping the chats clean and easy. I hope this was helpful. After I put this video live, you can comment in it. If there's anything you want to say about what you want to see in the future or anything, put it in the comment section there. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Last question. Someone just said, where's the Rebel Rascal? It's getting built right now. It'll be ready like on Tuesday of this week or Wednesday. And you'll see it on Instagram way before you see it on YouTube. You'll see everything on Instagram like 3 weeks before you ever see it on YouTube. So if you're interested in what I'm doing, check me out on Instagram. Okay, gonna go hang out with the family. Peace, guys. We caught like a dozen fish this morning, by the way. If you were on Instagram, you would have seen that. Oh, actually, I didn't Instagram that today, did I?